Explain the cut, because I honestly don't really know. Do you know about it?
I know a little bit about it, and so
They cut half the people, and then there's a final at Trestles.
So halfway through the year, they cut half of the field, and then like I think the idea was behind it that they continue the back half of the year with what they would think is like the guys that were surfing best that year, and so it creates only super heats.
Okay.
Because all of a sudden you have all these top guys in a draw that's only top guys.
Yeah.
Like, and they're all the events get more exciting to watch was the goal, I think. Because then you get more big name matchups.
Yeah, because everyone on the top half is the guys doing the best.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's going to be the best heats rather than some of those guys who are just having a shit run.
Yeah, and so, but it also sucks because you could just have a bad start to the year, and now you can't have, whereas in other years, you could have a bad start and then really rev up and do well later. Now, if you have a bad start, you are off the tour.
Yeah.
And you aren't just off the tour, like, you're off to go back, you have to go back to the Challenger Series.
Oh, no, wait. The half of the field, it goes back to the Challenger?
Requalify. You have to requalify. So.
Oh my God, that sucks.
Yeah.
That sucks.
It's super gnarly. And they did it also to make more room for the next year. The guys that do the Challenger Series brings in new blood.
Yeah.
So, and then they do it again for the final event, right? All of a sudden the field gets cut to five guys.
Or six.
And it's ideally the top 5 guys, and it creates a super event. So
that's honestly, I remember, so that's what I know about the main event at Trestles. It's like a one-day thing, and there was a lot of controversy around it, them changing it because it's been one way for so long.
Yeah.
And I can see why people don't like it. I especially can see why some of the surfers don't like it, but I honestly really like it as a spectator and a fan to see it all come down to like one moment. Like this is that moment.
Mm-hmm. As a spectator, it makes it way more exciting to watch.
But I could see someone just like, say even someone as good as John or like Kelly or Kolohe has a shit first start, and then all of a sudden they fall off tour.
Yeah.
I don't know if falling off should be the best thing. Like those guys are,
it's just where you put them.
Yeah.
They didn't make those first events, and then
I'm glad I don't have to make decisions like that.
Yeah, exactly. And on the other side of it is, so you make it through the cut, then you surf an insane year. You do your best in every single event. You go into the final event of the year, leading, right?
Yeah.
It is only your world title to lose. So if that day you show up at Trestles in the final event, if that day somehow you're food poisoning the night before, it's the one off day of your whole year.
Yeah.
And you lose after winning every event all year. You could win every event the entire year, but if you don't win the last one, you don't win the world title.
Yeah.
So the pressure they put on the athletes is insane, which makes for great competitive surfing. And
well, that's competition.
Yeah, that's competition.
That's what you want to see, like the top athletes. Like
so last year, Toledo, he went into the final event leading, and then he wins the final event. Through and through.
That's crazy.
Champion all year long. Like, pretty crazy.
Imagine that feeling for them.
Crazy.
Like, winning. Finally, at the end, the last...
It's like death match.
1 minute, you win.
Yeah.
The whole year. That's pretty sick.
And so I think the leading guy, actually, they surf 3 heats.
Okay.
Because I think it's either 5 or 6 that go into the final event. 5th surfs against 4th. 4th surfs against 3rd. 3rd surfs against... 2nd, and so if you come in 5th, you can compete your way to the final heat with
champion.
The leader, and then you surf 3 heats against him, best out of 3
to El Champion. That's a lot of surfing.
It's pretty sick.
That's a lot of surfing,
but
in one day.
It also creates like superhero moments because like last year, it was a great example on both sides. Toledo, he wins the year, he wins the final event. Carissa goes into the final event, the leader, yellow jersey. She had a psycho year, winning all year long. Steph goes in 5th and competes her way to 1st and wins the final heat.
Oh,
in
no
one
way.
Day of event competing, she goes from 5th and takes the world title.
Imagine that feeling.
Imagine that feeling. You serve
Dude.
6 heats and then the 3 or 5 heats and then the 3 at the end, and you win. You win everything.
That's so sick. Dude, you're like a competitive surfing encyclopedia. I don't know anything about competitive surfing at all.